Please introduce yourself.
Hey guys, I'm Julian Greene. I've been here before.
Yeah.
I'm just as excited though.
Yeah, I'm so excited. Oh man, it's great to have you back, and like there's been just like a huge change from like just a few months ago.
Yeah, things have really taken a turn, which is good. That was the goal.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Thank you for the plug then. I think maybe there's some correlation between the first interview and all this success afterwards.
Yeah.
Did you do this?
Maybe.
Did you do this?
Did I do this? If I did this, that'd be great.
I think you might have had a part.
Oh, I'm so proud of myself now. Oh man, but how have you been since the last interview though? Like in terms of like, you know, just health in general, like your career and everything.
Dude, health in general, so good. I quit smoking 4 months ago.
Really?
Yeah, I started meal prepping all of my meals and going to the gym, so I'm taking in more calories than I've ever done before. I'm exercising, which has got to help to some degree.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So truthfully, I feel much better. 4 months ago, I was wheezing every time I walked upstairs. Now I'm feeling pretty good.
Oh, that's awesome. But let me pull up my questions. I completely forgot to do that because I meant to print them out. Okay, have you been since the last interview? And I wanted to ask about any new tattoos that you might have gotten since the last interview. Yeah,
the fun ones. Yeah, so actually 2 weeks ago, I did 6 hours in the chair. I blasted out the right side of my ribs and a little bit under my pre-existing stomach tattoo. And then last Thursday, I did the left side of my ribs. And fun fact, by far the worst tattoos I've ever gotten in my life. Like,
really?
Horrible experience. I really wish that I could like be tough and be like, yeah, no, it wasn't even a problem. But no, it was horrible. It was absolutely horrible. It was the worst I've ever done on my body. I would never do it again.
Oh, and they were like shaded and everything.
Oh yeah, like all black work on my ribs. It was awful. The first one was way worse because it was 6 hours. The second one I only did 3 because we didn't have to do as much. But good Lord, anybody who wants to go tattoo their ribs, I highly recommend just really taking the time to think about what you're signing up for.
Oh yeah. Yeah, like when I wanted to do mine, like I thought about it, but there wasn't any shading with mine. Like it's just numbers.
Right.
So like it wasn't as bad as like what you're describing, but the one that had to have hurt the worst was the one on my back, and that one has like a lot of shading and stuff with it. And that's like right on my spine too. So like it was
I've heard bad things about the back. I'm truthfully very happy I haven't moved there yet, just because like from the back I don't really look heavily tattooed. Like I just look like a dude who has like the back of his neck in like 2 sleeves, because like my back is wide open, but from the front I look a
so you still have some canvas space then.
Yeah, I'm saving the back. I mean, I'm not even 22 yet, so like I gotta have some room to toy around with.
Yeah. I mean, I guess that's kind of why I'm doing like tiny tattoos, but like all over basically.
Right.
But I have like the longest list on my notes app ever, because I put so much thought into these, and I've slept on all of them. So like
that's the way to do it.
Yeah. One of them I'm excited for. I'm getting matching with my mother, because she's like a bookworm. I am by far the exact opposite of a bookworm. I'm like a film major, stuff like that. Huge passion of mine. So she's gonna get a book with pages getting ripped out of it and then it turning into birds. That's just her thing.
Right.
But I'm gonna get a roll of film and have a razor blade cutting into it, because that's how linear film was edited a long time ago. And then each piece of film that gets cut off gets turned into a bird.
Okay.
So it's basically the same thing. It's gonna look the same, but like the source of the birds are gonna be different.
Right, just basically influenced on.
Yeah. I'm like really excited for that one.
I'm trying to get a matching tattoo with my mom pretty soon, actually.
Oh, do it.
I mean, I know you know my mom pretty well, but we've been scheming up some ideas. It's just it's like not great, because I don't really have that much in common with a 41-year-old woman. I thought I did. I really like red wine. But aside from that, I don't know that we have much in common to like put on our bodies forever. But honestly, I'm down to put a bottle of Merlot on my foot and just call it a day. I'll do it. For my mom, I'll do just about anything.
Yeah. What was the other question? Oh yeah, like last time you were in here, we talked about some of the tattoos that you have that are very that were like your favorite or something like that, or whatever your first one was and stuff like that. But is there any others that you really want to like shout out or talk about and stuff like that? Like,
oh, goodness, there's so many. Honestly, like I have to like look down at my hands and whatnot, and just like check myself out.
I know that like what I talked about was like fear and love on your face, and then like the hands on your neck and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then you talked about the one on your hand because you wanted the ones on your hands to mean something because you see them all the time.
Right.
So,
right.
Like,
that's my perspective. Is these ones. That's why you got to put some meaning into the ones that are like visible to you. Like I have my whole head tattooed. I truthfully am never going to see that, except for when I look in the mirror, I can see the side. But
right.
I don't know. But the head was honestly, that was a fun one because I don't typically give my tattoo artists like incredible artistic freedom. Like I usually have a pretty set plan as to what I want. But for my head, I just knew that I wanted it to be symmetrical. I've got like a big obsession with symmetry, as you can tell by most of my artwork. And I went to him. He knew that I really loved Egyptian themed tattoos. Like I just really have a fascination with like old school Egypt and what was going down a couple thousand years ago. And I was like, hey, Ken, I don't really know what you can do. I already have like enough faces tattooed on me. I didn't want like another face on my head or anything like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, if you could just like draw something up like that's like symmetrical, has like some geometry involved, but it's not too crazy. He drew up this crazy scarab on the back of my head. And like as the wings part, there's like a woman's face underneath. Like I said, I have so many faces tattooed on me. And then under that is like a skull. And it just ended up being like one of my favorite pieces. Like it looks a little weird because like I have to shave my head to really expose it. And then on top of that, I've got this like crazy blonde mop that's just like really hard to manage. But aside from the crazy hair, like my head tattoo is like hands down one of my favorites. It just looks so right.
Right.
When I look in the mirror, I'm like, that was a good one.
Yeah, that was a good one.
You did good there.
Yeah, that was a good one.
And then like recently, like adding on to my stomach and whatnot, that's been a...
Oh yeah, I wanted to ask about that, yeah.
That's been a big one for me because I've had my chest and stomach tattooed for 4 years now, and I really wanted to be careful about how I expanded off of that. Like my chest piece is like so dominant, like that's the first thing you notice if I'm shirtless, so like I didn't want to cloud it up too much with anything too detailed. So it took, I mean, about 2 years of planning as to what I wanted to do. We just finally agreed we were going to follow my natural body lines and like added these super dark things on the side here. And I, fun fact, have not shown the world really what I have tattooed on my ribs yet.
Yeah.
And now I've got a lot of followers that are asking about it. But today I did my first shirtless photo shoot since I got tattooed. So
that's awesome. And when do you think those are going to be posted?
Probably tonight.
If
I'm being honest, while we were setting up in here, my photographer sent me just like a sneak peek. And
really?
I'm so excited.
Oh, I'm excited too because I'm a fan. So like,
stay tuned.
Okay. So we're gonna move to a song that you have to make a quick statement about. It's called "The Reason" by Chelsea Cutler.
Yeah, this is a good one for me. And Chelsea, if you're listening, goodness, this is for you. So a lot of people like wanted to know how I got started into modeling and why I got started into modeling, and I think I could probably go down, 10 or 20 different reasons as to why this has been a huge part of my life now. But realistically, at the end of the day, the most important thing is that I get enough clout on Instagram that Chelsea Cutler notices me, and hopefully then the marriage that I've already sorted out in my head can get underway, because truthfully, I am just head over heels for that girl. So, I mean, every time I listen to her music, I am just touched in such a special way.
I'm like really happy that you were like, if that's something I want to say, I'm like, yes, that's something that you're saying on the show.
I don't know if I want to admit to it all the time, but I might as well if I'm on the radio.
If you're on the radio, yeah, absolutely. Of course, no shame. All right. Well, this is the song "The Reason" by Chelsea Cutler. Woo! All right. That was the song. Whoops. Okay.
The Reason.
That was the song "The Reason"
by my boo thing.
By your boo. By your boo thing.
My future boo thing.
Chelsea Cutler.
Yeah.
I have not heard her music before, but like I'm really excited about it.
She is such a sweetheart. She just turned 21. She's like from New York. The whole reason I found out about her was when I worked at H&M. They picked up one of her first songs and put it on the playlist. I heard it like, I don't know, 100 times a day, and I fell in love with it.
Awesome. Very cool. Would you put her in the same definition as like, like Eden or Blackbird, like like a really talented vocalist over like EDM beats? Right.
Yeah. I mean, that's exactly how it is too. And especially like the similarities of just like how young they are and they're self-producing everything that they do. Like, I mean,
there's a lot of artists like that. You like the grandson tattoo I have, it's the exact same, basically the same category as Black Bear.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to check him out.
Yeah. He's really cool. He is very, he is a very political kind of art, obviously not, for, a specific person, but, but he's very vocal about that, which, I mean, I respect it, but like, I mean, I'm not too into politics. So but like the sound is amazing. So yeah, fun times. But, but yeah, what were my other questions? I'm like completely out of order right now. Okay. Yeah. Like, we were just talking, while the song was playing and stuff like that. Now that you have like a lot more followers than last time, you have like over 10,000 more followers than you did when you first came in here.
Yeah,
which is crazy.
Things took off.
Things took off for you, man. That's crazy. Like, how does that feel? Like having like over 13,000 followers right now.
Some days I wake up and it feels incredible. I think I'm on top of the world just because of how quickly it all went down.
Like I texted you. I think it was last Friday or something, this past Friday, and you had 12.7 or 8,000 followers.
Yeah.
And now you're over 13.
Yeah, it goes up like roughly about 100 a day.
That's crazy.
Which is nice. Yeah, unfortunately, once you pass 10 and then you get the K next to your number, you don't get to really track how much you're getting in a day. So like the difference between, 13 and 13.1 I could literally have 13,001 followers, or I could, take that all the way up to 999. Like I'll never really know where I'm at until I see it change, but it's kind of nice.
Is there no like analytics page for like
even if you were to like, so if I went to like a business profile where you can like check your like organic reach on the site, then that's different, but I'm not going to do that. I'm not a public figure or anything like that.
I mean, I put myself down as like a videographer because like that's what I'm going to start like making I'm going to try like freelancing, like I'm going to try like editing. I'm starting to edit videos for musical friends of mine like Emily and my friend Chris, who is it sounds dumb, but he's a SoundCloud rapper, but he's like a very talented SoundCloud rapper.
Yeah, I don't ever shame anybody for that. Like you got to use your platform however it's there. SoundCloud is definitely a good outlet.
Yeah. But and I don't know why the link isn't working, but we'll figure that out later.
Yeah, no worries.
But yeah, what was I gonna say? Like that must feel like I don't know how I would feel. I would throw up. I'd be so like
it's weird,
like in shock.
It's weird to see like the perspective some people take on it, because like for the longest time I was like, I just want to hit 10K, like that would be so huge for me. And then I hit 10K and I watched it just like continue to grow even more and more, honestly. And like sometimes I'll get messages from people and they're like, what's it like being famous? And I'm like, well, let's slow your roll. Like I'm literally just some dude right now. But that being said, like there are people out there who have, 13,000 followers and they're just pretty people, and that's just like how it works for them. But I've got like a good following and engagement with the people that are following me. Like I don't know, I'm not just modeling, you know what I mean? Like a lot of people will go to my live videos for apparently I'm inspiring. I didn't know I was inspiring, but I talk a lot, so I'm not surprised that you took something from it somewhere. But it's weird. I don't know. Like 13 feels good, but truthfully, I'm shooting more for like 100K. When I hit 100K, we'll come back and we'll do another interview, and hopefully that's just like 5 months away,
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised if it was just 5 months away.
The goal
honestly
is 25 by Christmas. That's my Christmas present to myself.
Really? Oh,
25,
wow.
And then
that's awesome.
We'll shoot for bigger numbers after that. Gotta keep it slow.
Oh man, that's crazy. What if you hit 50 by Christmas? Like, how would you feel after that?
If I hit 50 by Christmas, that means I went viral. That means something happened.
Oh yeah, that means something happened.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things in the works for sure, and I've got big plans, and I think that they're gonna definitely give me a good step forward. But I mean, just take it day by day and keep posting pretty pictures and hope for the best.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like one of my someone I graduated with, Tatiana Coakley. Like she's very, very beautiful, but she just takes photos to take photos on Instagram. But they're high res photos, really good photos, and she has like 26K on Instagram. And which I can't fathom at all because I literally have had classes with her. Right. So I don't get it. Like she's like just really pretty, but
that's all it takes on Instagram. Just a pretty face and a good attitude.
Yeah. And,
I've only got one of those.
But another thing that I wanted to ask was, like, you mentioned that, like, in our last interview that you had a very good work ethic and stuff like that, and that you had a job at Tilly's and stuff like that. And we talked about that a little bit, like, off air, but, like, you don't work at Tilly's, or you don't work at anywhere anymore? Like,
self-employed, entrepreneur, model, whatever you want to call me. Yeah, I'm doing it all on my own now, which is huge. That was really like the deal breaker for me. Like once I realized I was able to supplement all of my bills and whatnot just through this, like, dude, what else could you ask for? At the ripe age of 21, what else could you ask for? So, no.
I wish.
No need for retail these days, although I do miss it. I'll tell you what, some of the best times of my life were just dancing around H&M, hanging up cardigans.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Oh, goodness. Let me just tell you, just fun fact about me. I love that company. It really enjoyed being a part of that, and selling cardigans is really my favorite thing to do.
All right.
Maybe not my favorite thing, but it's up there. It's so fun.
I got you.
Just dressing people. I want to be a stylist one day.
Really?
I think that's the goal. I think once I think I'm getting uglier by the day. So I think like there's going to come a day where I've just got to be like, all right, no more pictures of me, but I would like to style pretty people because I got a good sense of style, I think, and it'd just be fun to put people in pretty clothes.
Interesting.
We'll see if they let me.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah. I've got to really work for that one, though.
I mean, you do have a huge following now, and you're going to keep going up, I guarantee it.
I hope so, man.
Guarantee it.
I hope so.
Oh, I guarantee it. But really quick before we go to another song break, but you're still working with the same photographer that you've been for like ever? Like
yeah.
What was her name again?
Alyssa.
Alyssa
Nicole Photo on Instagram, but she Alyssa and I met back in early March. We did our first photo shoot just from a mutual friend introducing us. Mm-hmm. And that was the first photo shoot that I did that like went over 1,000 likes, like really put me in a better spot for modeling. And now, I mean, we try to shoot every week, couple times a week. Her and I just became best friends, and we got published. That was a huge thing. Yeah. So in June, somebody contacted me and just asked me if I was down to be in a magazine. I was obviously down for that. But I had missed the deadline to submit my photos. But I just sent them over anyway, just like on a whim, just like maybe. And then about a month went by, and that same person contacted me, and they were like, hey, just wanted to let you know, actually, like, they really liked your work so much that they want to put it in regardless of the deadline, like, being missed. So in August, I got published in a magazine for the first time, like, full That's spread. Insane. Yeah, it was crazy. And that was only, like, the picture that I had taken for the magazine was in my 4th month of modeling. So 4 months in, and I was able to get published, and now I've got some big goals. Now that I know that it's possible.
Oh, man. That's crazy.
Yeah, so big shout out to Alyssa. I tell her all the time, I'm like, I don't want to sound dramatic, but you've changed my life. Like, I didn't look this pretty until she started editing me and making me look pretty, so I really owe her quite a bit. I told her I'm going to buy her a G-Wagon one day when I make it. It's what she wants, and she will get it.
A G-Wagon, that's fantastic. Oh man! All right, I'm gonna move to another song, but we talked about this as well. Like, you wanted to play a Mac Miller song. And,
I do. Yeah. Rest in peace, man, to an absolute legend.
Yeah, I know. It happened like the day after my show, so I wasn't able to really talk about it too much, but. I grew up listening to Mac Miller with my friends. I was hit hard when he passed. It was rough.
Yeah, as a Pennsylvania native, Mac Miller has been bumping on everybody's iTunes since 2010. Like, absolutely. I saw him in 2011 when I was a young 14-year-old at the Sherman Theater.
Really?
Yeah, and
he came to the Sherman?
He did. It was great. It was before he even let out the Best Day Ever album. So he was really young. He was 18 years old, and. Yeah, no, when I heard the news, man, I was actually at the mall just buying sweaters, and I just it's one of those things where you just don't really it doesn't hit you until a couple days go by that it's real.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's super sad, but
Yeah, I had to call people know people know from that listen to my show, my friend Chris or Foolish, he's the SoundCloud rapper that I just mentioned. He Mac Miller was one of his influences, and he listened to it more than I did.
Right.
And I actually had to call him. I found out about it a half hour after it was released that it happened, and I called him and told him, and he didn't know, and I broke the news to him. But he was more happy that I did, or instead of him finding out from an article, he would have broken everything in his room.
Yeah, I'd be lying if I said I didn't shed a couple tears.
I did.
Yeah, it was a traumatic loss for the music industry and just it's rained every day since too in PA. It's so sad.
Yeah, I know.
You just feel it everywhere you go. But also on the bright side, it's only so many good things you can take from it. But people are really celebrating the life that he lived. He didn't have any controversial moments. He was really just a well-respected, very highly loved individual. So
very, very true, brother. All right, now let's play the song "Come Back to Earth" off of his Swimming album. This is by Mac Miller. Enjoy. Okay, I don't know what's going on. It's credits. I don't know what's going on here. That was a music video. Okay, I got really confused. Anyway, that was the song "Come Back to Earth" by Mac Miller. Tragic. I'm actually really upset now, but that's okay.
I don't want to kill the mood.
Yeah,
don't worry.
No, there's no mood to kill.
I'm sure he's smiling down on us.
Oh yeah, probably. Let me. All right, I need to. All right, I'm good. I'm good. I'm not gonna cry. Okay, so a few things I want to talk about that you actually shouted out when you first announced it. This was when you first announced it. Like, didn't you do that? It was like the music project and the poetry book. Like,
yes.
Like, that was when you first announced it, I think, when you were on this show.
Yeah,
that's awesome. All right, but anyway, like, I just feel like I feel good that like I was like, all right. But anyway, so tell me about this music project that you're working on. Like, it's currently in the works and stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure. I had big plans of doing this a little sooner. I have a really bad tendency to bite off more than I'm ready for, you know?
Right.
So I had big plans of releasing stuff when I hit 10K, and that came up much quicker than I expected.
Right.
So, and I'm a bit of a perfectionist. Like, I definitely don't want to release anything premature.
Oh, yeah.
You know, if it's literally much better to just like be like, sorry guys, not ready yet, than it is to put something out that I don't absolutely love.
Mm-hmm.
But a few years back, I was in a hardcore band. I was the vocalist. I was just an angsty little 17-year-old who just had a lot to yell about.
Yeah.
It was great. It was a good time, but the band didn't end up making it through, as most, you know, little bands do. But my guitarist actually ended up moving a couple of blocks away from me in Easton, and he started getting more into production and just producing, and he hit me up and was like, hey, look, I know that you still like making music. I know you write a lot. Like, if you'd be down to come to the studio and just like mess around, like, it's just something you can do, that you have the option. So I ended up linking up with him early in like May, maybe April. And we just like kind of messed around for a few weeks, and then we kind of got a really good feel for like what genre I belong in, you know? I've got an interesting voice, if you will. I don't really like my voice, but that's not going to stop me from doing something that I'm passionate about.
Good.
So, so we've been working on about 6 tracks. I just want to put together a really solid EP, and I don't want it to be so, like, I want it to vary, you know what I mean? I want you to listen to one song and have it play into the next, and you're like, oh, wow, this kid's got, like, a lot of range here, you know what I mean? So, at first it was very, like, hip-hop influenced, and that being said, it's a little easier when you've got, like, a funny voice. It's easier to just spit a couple of bars down, but then I started to really find my sound, if you will, and I really like, you know, I listen to Eden a lot. I listen to Chelsea Cutler and Chase Atlantic and Black Bear, so I'm influenced by a lot of R&B and alternative pop, if you will, and now it's getting weird. I don't know. Now when I go into the studio, like, I listen to some of our instrumentals and I'm like, wow, I can't believe I'm about to sing on top of this, but truthfully, I think we're a few short months away from really wrapping it all up. About 3 of those 6 songs are pretty much done and signed off on. But
that's awesome.
Yeah, I just got to be very precise about how I do this. You know, it's all about the exposure that it gets. If I don't do it the right way, you know, maybe only 13,000 people see it, and I'd rather, you know, 300,000 people see it.
Trust me. As soon as you release it, it's being played on this show.
Oh, well, instantly! Goodness, that is flattering.
No,
I've got to really bring my A game then, at least one of them.
No, it'll happen.
I'll be like, hey man, just play this one, only this one.
No, you should. You know what? I have a lot of live performances on my show.
Yeah.
So after its release, or at some point,
we'll come in here with a full band, dude.
Oh, absolutely.
We'll get it. We'll get groovy in here. Oh,
that
Lord.
would be awesome.
As long as there's room for me to swing my hips. I'm a bit of a dancer.
I'll set you guys up in the conference room behind us. Absolutely. Yes. That's going to happen. It's totally going to happen.
You heard it here first. Look at this. This show is really just, you guys are putting me on.
Oh, exactly. Yeah. But, and then, like your, we just said your influences, stuff like that. And like, so can you really put your music in a specific genre?
Not at all.
Not at all?
Not at all.
I like that. I like that a lot.
I really expect to turn some heads with this one. People are going to be like, oh, okay. He's got some nice trap, hip-hop vibes. And then the next one, it's going to be real slow. I also want to do a lot of spoken word.
Oh, have you heard of this band called Hotel Books?
Oh, my goodness. Yeah. Of course.
Yeah.
Fun fact. When I'm doing my moody portrait shots and whatnot, when I'm really doing like conceptual photography, Hotel Books is a huge influence when it comes to just my own personal turmoil, if you will. He has a lot of topics that are really close to home for me. So I find a lot of inspiration through his music. I don't know if you want to call it spoken word or music, but
I mean, a lot of the older stuff is a lot of like spoken word, and now they're kind of like with their newest release, like they have some singing over it, which is pretty cool. And I actually saw Hotel Books live at they were opening for Hawthorne Heights in Easton One Center Square.
No way.
Yeah, you didn't know that? Oh no.
Oh, I literally live like 3 minutes from there.
Really?
Like, that's devastating. I probably saw Hawthorne Heights and was like, whatever, I don't need to go to that show. But if I'd have known Hotel Books was there.
Yeah, no, I met the whole band and then I got their signatures on a shirt. It was awesome. But and I think I'm going to be going back to One Center Square for there's a Nice Nine Kills concert, I think October 14th or something like that.
All right.
I forget when, but yeah.
I'm really glad that venue's like getting some love, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I love that venue.
Yeah.
Love it.
It's cool having something so close to home.
Yeah, right? But you were talking about your spoken word stuff.
Yeah, I write a lot of poetry. I mean, I'm working on a book, but some of it I just feel like the emotion behind it is really relayed better verbally.
All right, good.
And as I'm writing instrumentals for the music that I'm making, there's a lot of the times where I'm just like, you know what, truthfully, singing on top of this or rapping on top of this, if you will, is just gonna take away from the emotion of the actual sound. And I think sometimes it's easier to just take my poetry and speak it out there the way that I want it to be heard. And I've experimented with it. None of them are going to be on the album, that's for sure. But I do think that's probably what's going to end up on Instagram is the spoken word stuff. Because Instagram allows you like a minute-long clip for your videos, you know? So I can work some videography into it, get some really nice, like, moody shots of Lord knows what. I don't know what's around here that's moody other than, like, cornfields. they make me feel some type of way when I look at them. I'm like, oh, this is sad.
This is depressing.
Yeah, like we're just surrounded.
But I was actually going to, like, I thought about it, like, right when you said that. I was like, because I'm a little embarrassed by it, but like I'll totally show you. But since I became friends because me and my friend Chris, like we were friends all throughout high school, and then we dropped off a little bit, and then we reconnected recently. But he because like I don't know why, but like when I'm like in a mood or something like that, like I tend to like kind of freestyle in my head, and sometimes the lyrics sound like really good, but like then I don't do anything with them and I completely forget about them. But recently, like when I'm like in a mood and then I think of something, I instantly have to write it down now. Yeah. Because of my friend Chris, who's a rapper. Right. And like I can never recite it, but I just have it written there. And I feel like I need to do something with it, but I want to show you it. But like I'll just show you it.
Oh, absolutely.
Like I'll just show you just to get like poetic feedback, basically, because it's like poetry at this point. But like some of the words don't rhyme properly because they need to be spoken like in the way that it's supposed to.
Yeah. Oh, hey, Black Bear was he was a ghostwriter for years before he ever did anything of his own.
Yeah. Like, he wrote what was it? It was Boyfriend for Justin Bieber.
Yeah, he ghostwrote for Justin Bieber and Mike Posner and Neo and all sorts of people. So. I mean, having a knack for writing can go so far, so far. Yeah. That's probably where I'll end up someday, too, just ghostwriting a lot. I write some stuff, and I'm like, man, if I could sing, if I had falsettos, it'd be game over. But that's just not the luck, you know?
Oh, man. Yeah, I like that was like my one passion in life is to be like a performer or like a singer. A vocalist is really what I want to be. But I do not have the pipes to do that, so... So that there's a problem with that. But yeah, I wanted to ask like about your influences in your poetry, really, because I'm glad that you mentioned it, so that way you could kind of transition. But right. But like, do you have any like major poetry influences or anything like that? Like obviously Hotel Books, but like
Hotel Books is definitely a big one. I guess it kind of depends on what I'm doing. Like when I'm writing, I try to write a little short and sweet. When I first started writing, I found myself just like really clouding up the message of what I was trying to say by just using far too many words. Like you don't need to be so descriptive. Like you feel what you feel, and 9 times out of 10 you don't have 1,000 words to describe it. You just feel how you feel, and it's better to just put that on paper than it is to try to like, you know, make it sound artsy. And that was something I struggled with for a long time, where I'd be writing just paragraphs and it really just needed to be 6 lines. And after I really learned that, I started reading Lang Leave. She is unbelievable. I've got all of her books, unless she let out a new one, which would be so sad that I don't have it yet. But I believe she's got 6 books. I've got them all. She's a huge influence to me. She writes very short, simple stuff. that's kind of where I go when it comes to writing, but I do a lot of spoken word. I think that's kind of where my interest lies more, and Levi the Poet is definitely my biggest influence. He is very similar to Hotel Books, except he's not in a full band. He does everything on his own. A lot of the time there's no music behind it.
Interesting.
But three or 4 years ago, a friend invited me to go to his church in Allentown. They were just performing. Like, my friend is in a band with his girlfriend. They're absolutely incredible. But they were like, yeah, it'd be like really great if you came to the show. So I checked it out, and then I thought it was just them performing. And afterwards, Levi the Poet had come on, and I've never heard of him. I don't know many people who have, but he just happened to be there that night. And he put on an 1.5 hour long performance of spoken word. And the first poem that he did was a 45-minute poem. It consists of like a fictional love story. It's like 12 stories back and forth, or 12 letters back and forth, I should say. And I don't really know if I was going through something at the time, or maybe he's just really that good. But I found myself crying in a church basement at the age of like 18 or 19. And I was like, wow, this is really weird. But after going home and really checking him out, like the man is just incredibly talented. And when I listen to him, I'm like, you know what? This is definitely something to take from.
That's so cool.
Check him out for sure. If you like Hotel Books, Levi the Poet is the plug.
I got you. Yeah, I got you. And one of the biggest thing that I think is American Way Disaster wow, I can't even say it properly. American Way Disaster Relief.
Yeah, that is that's huge, especially with the timing right now. So my best friend of 10 years now, Nick Russo, last year, I believe, it was when Harvey hit Texas.
Yeah.
He just put a Facebook post up and was like, hey, look, I really want to help these people. I'm in Pennsylvania. I'm not really sure how to help. But he was just going to essentially rent a truck, fill it with supplies, and drive down there on his own. And he definitely didn't expect the response he got. But next thing he knew, he was getting so many donations in of supplies and money and all sorts of stuff that he was able to start a nonprofit. So they tackled, Harvey and Maria and just pretty much everything that's happened since last October. So then in April, I got to go down with them to Puerto Rico. We assisted in Vieques. That was really one of the most beautiful experiences of my life. Just really seeing how devastated that area was and how much help they needed 6 months after the storm hit. Just goes to show, you might think as time goes on that these people have rebuilt and got their stuff back, but I got down there and there were still people without water. Like, they still don't have a hospital on the island of Vieques. And I actually was lucky enough that it wasn't anything serious, but I sustained a foot injury on like our 3rd or 4th day out there on a build site. And that's huge if you weren't a volunteer. Like, if you lived on that island and you broke a leg or had anything go wrong, like, you aren't getting off that island. You're not getting seen by a doctor. Like, you're very much beat in every sense. And it's unfortunate, and it was eye-opening to go down there and really see how much help was needed. And now, obviously, with these storms coming up, we've got a lot to prepare for. So I believe Hurricane Florence is set to hit the Carolinas on Thursday. This is like the blessing in disguise of growing my Instagram, is that now I've got a pretty good reach when it comes to people, spread out around the country. And this is a very important time for just civilian volunteers to really coordinate supplies and assets where, if they have them available. It's literally a matter of life and death in some situations. If someone's got a boat, and there's people that are up on their rooftop of their flooded house and they have no way out, and a lot of the times the Red Cross or, the National Guards, like, these people aren't able to assist in every area. That person who has that boat and may not know where to go is the difference maker right there. And you have to, that's a lot of what we do is connect dots. So if this person has this and these people down here in this area are devastated and in need of it, he might not know that they need it, but we can connect them to them. So, my Instagram right now, sure, it's going to be modeling on the daily, but
right.
This is where I need people the most to reach out. If you've got information about an area that's been neglected, or if you have something that you'd like to donate, there's always going to be a link in my bio to donate monetarily. If you have supplies, you can directly contact me. But it's going to be a crazy couple of weeks, and honestly, it looks like we're going to be heading down there at the end of this week anyway, just to assist in normally it's disaster relief, like distribution of supplies when we're going down to these places, but this time it looks like it very well might turn into some rescue-oriented missions. You know, you've got to get down there and help people while they still need it. You can't just like hope to clean up the mess. You've got to really be down there and do the part. So a little intimidating for sure. You know, you don't want to be down in a hurricane, but these people don't want to be down there either, and they're going to need a lot of help. I mean, it's important that they stock up now and prepare. You know, like preparation is huge, but there's only so much you can do against a natural disaster, and people are going to lose a lot of stuff, and we just hope that, you know, if we can get one person to safety, that, you know, that's mission complete. Like that's the goal is to help everybody and anybody that we can.
Yeah. I just think it's awesome that you're literally like the way that you said, like the guy with the boat, like you're just connecting like good people to like people that need help. Yeah. Which is incredible.
Yeah. I mean, and it's just crazy how much there is to offer. And then it's just, you know, you have so many things that some people might actually be in need of, but like, how are you supposed to know that? You know, it's not your job to actively seek who's in need of something. But if you so happen to be following some dorky dude on Instagram who's involved with it or something, and he's got a connection, then like, it's great that you can use that outlet to reach out and just be like, hey, look, I've got this. I don't know if you have a need for it, whether it just be like diapers for children or food or water, like whatever it is, like, please, like, and especially like with all the flooding that's going to happen. I mean, lifted vehicles, boats, like things like that you're able to use that, you know, most people don't have. Like that's a huge thing right there. So really hoping that my Instagram gets flooded with support and donations for these people. But we're going to do our darndest to keep everybody safe and provide them with what they need.
Of course. That's incredible. I'm going to cry. Anyway, so...
Don't cry.
I'm not going to cry.
This has been an emotional roller coaster today, huh?
Oh, yeah, it has been a little bit. But that's just like... I'm just like really happy that like something like that exists and that you're actually a part of it, because that's like crazy that like you grew this much. Yeah. And now you're like connecting like these good people, and especially in this time of need. No, people are gonna get hit hard by a hurricane.
I feel blessed, man. I get a lot of love online, just people that are like, wow, like, you know, it's crazy to see that you're like involved with these kind of things outside of modeling. Like, it's really cool to see that you've got a good heart for that. But I mean, truthfully, I'd like to believe that anybody given the opportunity is gonna go out of their way to help if they can. You know?
Of course.
If your best friend runs a nonprofit, you're definitely gonna, you know, you're gonna be involved in some manner. And Nick is he's a really talented and compassionate being, and I'm really blessed. The team that I went down to Puerto Rico with, they were really part of a life-changing experience for me, and we've got months and months, if not years, of
like
work
when
to do.
When you went down, I was watching your story. I watched your live streams, all that. Like, I wanted to like keep up to date with like what was going on down there, and I saw you like rescuing dogs and stuff like that, which was crazy.
Yeah, if you don't mind, actually, I always want to talk about that. That was,
go for it.
That was so cool. So like, we went down there largely on a building mission of just like repairing structures that had been ruined, building a house, if you will, for this retired veteran who was down there. We were just doing our best to really take care of the community of Vieques, because they were very much neglected. The Red Cross did, I mean, as much as they could, you know, but Vieques isn't part of mainland Puerto Rico, and to get over there, to get supplies over there, it's very difficult because there's only 2 or 3 ferries that run, and a lot of the times they're breaking down, so it's difficult for people to get supplies out there. So when we went down there, we had a lot of contingency plans in case anything went wrong. We wanted to make sure that we were busy and using our time wisely. One of the last days, we were just kind of like, all right, like, we don't have anything to do today necessarily. Like, there's nothing on the agenda. Like, what do we want to do? Me being the vegan, I was like, hey guys, I don't know if you've noticed, there's like 5,000 stray dogs on this island. Like, most of them lost their owners in the storm. Like, they just like, you know, like their owners had to leave and relocate. Not everybody could get their dogs, and now there's a huge problem with strays down there. And there were 3 that lived on the property that we were staying at, and they were so sweet. I'll never forget them. It was Lily, Julia, and Corky. He was so cute. They were horrified of us because I don't think that they'd really been around a lot of people. They're used to kind of fending for themselves. But we went to the Vieques Humane Society. We put a new roof on the building, because they were in dire need of that, especially preparing for the upcoming storm that they're going to be getting. They just needed to make sure that they were in a good position for that. And they were nice enough to give us like this is always a tongue twister for me, flea and tick treatments, and like anti-itch conditioners, like medication, food, like all sorts of stuff. And we just de-ticked, like bathed, gave haircuts to, fed all of these animals. And that, I mean, as a vegan, as an animal lover, that was like the highlight of it for me. I can't even tell you how many absolutely adorable dogs there are down there. And again, Instagram really came through in clutch there, because I was trying to coordinate getting these dogs off of this island. That's a huge part of this, is they really can't stay down there. Like, they outnumber the people at this point. So we got in contact, or I got in contact with one of the people following me who actually owns an animal shelter in Florida. And he was like, look, man, I would love to help. He's like, if we can, figure this out, orchestrate a way to get down there. And now, if I'm correct, the Vieques Humane Society is moving out over 50 dogs a month now to Florida, New Jersey, and Colorado, which is huge, because once they're in mainland USA, it's so much easier to find somebody willing to adopt a dog. So that's huge. And now when we go back to Puerto Rico, we kind of all have our outlets. We have like a media director, like we have Danny, who takes care of all of the photography and videos and whatnot, and then we've got Nick, who runs it and coordinates most of this stuff. But now it looks like I'm going to be lucky enough to be leading my own team of people down there, strictly to work with the animals and children. That's where my interest lies. I always wanted to be a teacher, and because I look like this, that's probably not going to happen. So now I'm going to use nonprofits to work directly with like children that are living in poverty-stricken areas, and helping the dogs and cats and whatever animals that need my help. I'm going to be a little Dr. Doolittle.
But wait, so you're you are leading your own team? I
will be, yeah.
Oh, you
so
will
like
be. Okay.
Last time we went down, it was just like our group.
Yeah.
And now going forward, Nick is going to be. I mean, there's a lot going into a nonprofit, a lot that I don't understand, what it takes to employ people and to give them salaries. But as we get into that position and go full time with this, there's only going to be 3 or 4 of us that are on salaries and like fully employed through the nonprofit, and I'll be one of them. So my direction is going to be with the animals and the children. Kind of leave that, because I mean, let's look at my arms for a second. I shouldn't be carrying like building supplies or like swinging too many hammers unless they're like plastic hammers. Like I'd love to help, and hopefully in the future I've got enough size on me that I can. But my passion lies with the children and the animals, so it's just easier to do that. And honestly, we've been talking about trying to coordinate something with ESU to talk to some of the kids up here that are going for vet work and all that good stuff. So hopefully we can coordinate some stuff, get some grants or something, and help everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
That's incredible. I can't even believe that. All right. Well. Whoops. Okay. There we go. That's my password. Okay. So another song request you had was Chase Atlantic. I was going to play Eden song, but I'm going to play this one instead. But Chase Atlantic's song Swim.
Yes. They are the best. I mean, maybe not the best, but I love them so much. They're like, I'm pretty sure they're from Australia. The lead singer's like younger than me. He turns like 22 in December or something like that, but he's so young, just really like a fashion icon in my opinion. The dude is just stunning, and big musical influence for me. I just got to see him live at Warped Tour for the first time. That was really cool.
Oh yeah, they went.
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah. Oh wow. Okay. All right, that's awesome. All right, but anyway, so this is the song Swim by Chase Atlantic. Enjoy. All right. That was the song Swim by Chase Atlantic. I've never heard that song before, and that was incredible.
So good.
It was very, very good, actually. Anyway, thank you all for listening to 90.3 WESS, East Stroudsburg University, East Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania. This has been the Doghouse with DJ Ceiling and my wonderful guest, Julian Greene. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming back, dude.
Thank you for having me.
It's fantastic. But is there anybody you want to shout out? Any plugs you want to plug?
Yeah, just real quick. First and foremost, my beautiful mother. None of this would happen without her. Love her to death, and I know you know her, so you know she's a sweet.
Yeah. She's great.
Alyssa, obviously my go-to photographer, one of my best friends. Absolutely love the girl. She's changing my life and taking me to very, very big places. So very proud of all the work we've accomplished together. Tristan, one of my best friends, another photographer I work with on a more deeper, meaningful level. We've been tackling some pretty serious projects that You got to stay tuned on Instagram to see.
Oh, really?
Big things that come for him and I, but he's a huge inspiration to me. The kid is just absolutely such a great person. And then my boy Austin, or on Instagram, he's AP. He really put me on to like professional modeling in New York, and I just really appreciate when there's people that you just meet, certain people in your life that have that energy, that you know they're going to stick around for a while. They have your best interest in mind. And truthfully, I met him at a casting call a couple months ago, and we've been boys ever since. So absolutely, those three for sure. Got a lot of amazing friends that I'd love to thank, but I don't really think that I've got time to list off 45 people. But honestly, if you know me, you know that I've got love for you. And there's 13.1 thousand people that I'd like to thank and show some love to as well. So yeah.
All right. Well, thank you all for listening to the Doghouse. And if you would like to go follow my Instagram, it is KYLEPATORO, or Kyle Pat Oro, as people have been saying it. It's just literally like the first three letters of my middle and last name. Kyle Pat Oro on Instagram. And stay tuned, because I'm going to probably be editing this video tonight. I am actually been recording this entire interview on cameras and stuff like that. I'll have it cut and edited for probably tomorrow. So if you want to stay tuned for that, it's I believe my YouTube is just the same thing, Kyle Pat Oro on YouTube. Literally the same thing. But thank you all for listening to 90.3 WESS, East Stroudsburg University, East Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania. Again, thank you so much for coming up here again.
Thanks for having me, brother.
This is fantastic. Now, be sure to come back next week for Wednesdays at 7 is when the Doghouse airs. Now, enjoy the BBC radio. Bye-bye.
Bye.